Hello, and welcome to Afternoon Tea with Karen and stuff that's going in my abortion research playlist. I'm not a fan of abortions because I've been in the same room with them. However, heaps of our politicians are right into them and so passionate that their mask slips and they all of a sudden know what a woman is and become transphobic.
So let's get straight into it. Let's start with Tanya Plibersek talking about her outrage that people are asking questions, daring to question the fact that Labor's passed a new law forcing employers to pay paid parental leave for late-term abortions. Let's watch.
Unbelievably, the debate around this bill was actually hijacked by a bunch of guys who have never had a period, let alone carried a baby, pretending that somehow women would go out, get pregnant, carry the baby until close to birth, and then deliberately have an abortion to get paid parental leave. It was offensive, it was disturbing, it was so sad for the thousands of people, thousands of women who've had stillborn babies. This legislative protection is important, it's necessary, and I'm so pleased it's passed through the Parliament now.
So men can't have an opinion on abortions because only women have periods, get pregnant, carry babies, have stillbirths, or abortions. I think someone owes the trans community a big apology.
And I would just also like to say that when it comes to the loss of a baby, whether it be through a loss through pregnancy, through stillbirth, or through termination, these are things that weigh very heavily on parents' hearts, and in particular on decisions for women. These are very difficult decisions, and I think some of the comments made today about women and their decision making are deeply offensive to the vast majority of women across Australia. I don't want to focus my remarks on other things that have been said in this bill, but I do want to place it on the record, and I share the concerns that that I imagine many women are feeling when they hear comments made like Senator Roberts made in his contribution.
Saying to a woman who's had the tragedy of a stillborn is you're no different to a woman who's intentionally killed her child. You're no different to a murderer. That's what she's saying.
Late-term abortions are not trivial matters. They are not done on the whim of a mother or father. They are a medical decision made by doctors and a wider medical team, usually in a specialist hospital for women, and it is a multidisciplinary decision, and it's usually done due to a severe fetal abnormality or if the mother's health and well-being is at risk due to a psychological or psychiatric problems. So this is an extremely rare scenario, and it is beyond disappointing to hear some of the misinformation and disinformation, I would argue, being peddled in this chamber by some members of Parliament who frankly should stick to their lane.
So this is Michelle Ananda Rajah. I'm sure you probably haven't heard of her. She's a senator from Victoria. Again, like continuing the bullying that these women are doing, like stay in your lane, men. You're not allowed to talk about this. Never mind the fact that 65% of employers in this country, like business owners, they're men, and they're looking at the men in this country and they're saying, you're not allowed to speak, even though we're going to force you to pay women for late-term abortions. Men aren't allowed to speak. That's what they're saying.
The fact that this bill has been weaponized by those on the right in their awful campaign to police women's bodies is despicable and disgraceful. But I'm not surprised at all.
So just before we even continue with this, I mean, this is Maureen Farquhar from the Greens. I don't know if I got her name right. She's just we really shouldn't be wasting time on her. This is ridiculous. So she said, how dare these people police women's bodies? Well, newsflash, this isn't about women's bodies. At this point, the baby is so advanced that they have to be removed from the mother's body whole. Like, they cannot be removed in pieces. We can't break them apart. The only way to get this baby out is dead or alive. That is the case after 23 weeks. And so when you're on the side that she is of killing these babies up to birth, they have no human rights protection. You're on the side of forcing a mother to deliver a dead baby, a stillborn baby. This is not about policing women's bodies. This is about recognizing that you've got a viable, healthy child. Let's deliver them alive and give them care. The mother doesn't have to raise them. They can be placed for adoption, but let's not kill them. This isn't about women's bodies, because there's no difference here. The late-term abortion doesn't actually affect the woman's body at all. It's an injection into the heart of the baby with poison. This is not about policing women's bodies. This baby comes out one way or the other. We're just on the side of not killing him.
They do this every time. Use the anti-choice, anti-abortion playbook to push their far-right agenda. This is not a new tactic. It is old, it is tired, and it comes straight from the US anti-choice far-right lobby.
Sorry, it's hard to keep a straight face because, like, oh my gosh, how many times did she say the word far right in there? You know, like, if you care about the human rights of babies, you're like far right, apparently. I'm surprised she didn't bring up Trump. I mean, this shouldn't be a left or a right issue. It really shouldn't be. I mean, the left prides itself on being on the side of, human rights. And yet here they are, like, at great pains to just deny human rights of these babies. And in fact, her compatriot in the Greens Party, Jenny Leong in New South Wales, she's just drafted a human rights bill for New South Wales. I shouldn't be laughing because this is just disgusting. But, it's honestly, like, if you didn't laugh, you'd cry. The Greens are introducing a bill. We'll do an episode in a few weeks. But they're introducing a bill in New South Wales to create a human rights act for New South Wales. And they've literally defined it that this bill only applies to human rights that apply after birth. So just like carving out all of those little human beings in the womb that don't have human rights according to the Greens. That's their position. And it's so artificial that they actually have to say it in the act, or their Human Rights Act will be used to protect little babies in the womb.
To suggest that any parents in this situation did not want to be parents is hurtful, disrespectful, and out of touch. And it ignores the evidence that terminations post 22 weeks are extremely rare, traumatic, and often involve pregnancies that are incompatible with life.
Some claim it as incentivising late-term abortions, or that women will kill their babies for profit from taxpayer money. These claims are false. This bill deals only with employer-funded paid parental leave that comes from an employment contract, a workplace policy, or an enterprise agreement. It does not affect the Paid Parental Leave Act 2010, which governs government-funded payments. So again, it does not involve taxpayer money. It simply provides that where paid parental leave already exists under a workplace agreement, an employer cannot revoke it simply because of a tragedy.
So this is about a payment. I mean, I'm just so confused by this. Aren't Muslims meant to be pro-life? Like, I thought that is actually the Muslim position on this. But anyway, like, go figure.
And thanks for that. I think perhaps you should get some clarity on the Muslim thing because you've got a bit of a short memory, Dr. Jo.
Joanna Howe in particular has been dreadful. Dr. Joanna is a social media influencer campaigning against abortions. Most of her content, however, is misleading and her tactics are bizarre and nasty. I cannot make this clearer. Her obnoxious attention-seeking behaviour does not influence me, and I doubt it influences any of my colleagues. Instead of seeking meetings and presenting a rational argument based on facts, Dr. Joanna organised a tour of Labor MPs' electorate offices to arrange protests against a Greens bill. When she visited my office, I knew she was coming, but I was at a meeting in the city, so I instructed my staff not to close the office, but to call the police if anything got out of hand. About 25 people showed up, and quite amusingly, one of my regular constituents left the office to see them there and started arguing with the protesters. After the uneventful protest ended, Dr. Joanna then entered my office and spoke to my senior electorate officer, who was heavily pregnant, on her last day of work before maternity leave. Someone else snuck in behind Joanna and filmed the interaction without the knowledge or consent of my very heavily pregnant staff member. Dr. Joanna then posted the video without the knowledge or consent of my staff member. and then didn't take it down when asked by my staff member, and it remains up to this day. While she didn't say anything unkind, it is still filmed and posted without consent of a very heavily pregnant woman and a very vulnerable young woman, and that is just not okay. Dr. Joanna has also repeatedly called me a pro-abortion MP, which is obviously not true. I was a member of Emily's List, and I resigned after I voted against the 2019 legislation. When I joined, I made it clear that I don't support late-term abortions and was told neither do they. I didn't ask what they meant by that, and I should have, and that is on me, not on them. I'm still not sure why Dr. Joanna is telling people I'm a pro-abortion MP and a member of Emily's List.
So to deal with the first bizarre allegation that I stormed into her office and filmed a staff member without a consent.
Would you describe yourself as pro-choice?
I'm conservative, so I follow my religion.
Yep. So
and
you're
my religion is
against
it.
Yeah, good on you.
I'd say
Yeah.
it's just,
Yeah.
But each to their own. Like everyone has their own opinion, their own circumstances. I don't know if I was in a situation where I needed to do it. If I was a kid and I was raped or something, there's always these different scenarios.
My response to that is when there's injustice, it's not enough for me to go, I'm personally against it, but I'll let you do it. So like, I don't think it would be okay for me to say, I'm not going to be racist, but other people can be.
In our religion, abortion is permissible, I think, up until the heartbeat.
On Instagram, I'm Dr. Joanna Howe if you want to see my stuff.
Oh, I started following you yesterday when I heard about this.
Oh, DM me on socials if you want to keep chatting. Bye-bye. See ya.
I'm a birth begins at conception person because I'm into conception dreams. Big surprise. Anyway, that'll do. See you later. Bye.